Hello and good evening. It's your friend Seth here. We're gonna do that persuasion speech we gotta do. Gonna introduce my audience. Today we have the lovely Brooke.
Hello.
And the neighbor Nick.
Hi.
So by the end of my speech, I want to persuade the audience into taking better care of the oceans, and I have a couple simple steps to reduce the waste that goes into our oceans. Oceans make up the majority of our planet, and neglecting them is a worldwide crisis that we all need to be aware of, and we all need to actively fight on a daily basis. I was raised going to the beach every day. I still go to the beach every day. I know you can't tell by my complexion, but I love the ocean, and I want it to be here forever. So I'm sure we've all seen those horrible photos of the sea turtle with a straw in its nose, or the seagull with the plastic around its head. And that didn't get there by accident. That's because someone didn't properly recycle their plastic. So today I'm gonna share with you the harms of plastic, other than the obvious, and how we can prevent them from getting worse by making small steps in our daily lives. According to the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, over 14 million tons of plastic waste goes into our oceans annually. This is killing thousands and thousands of ocean critters, every year. And our Earth's oceans are a valuable resource that we need to protect, and we need them to be there for our future generations. According to Down to Scuba, they say that the pollution in the ocean is a bigger problem than most people realize. Not only does it kill our little fishy friends, but it also is poisoning them, which is in turn poisoning us because we're eating them. So what happens to plastic when it goes into the ocean? It sits and bakes in the hot sun on the surface of the ocean or on the beach or wherever, and then it goes into the water, and it gets agitated by the tide, and it gets agitated by waves, and that once big plastic bottle is now being broken down over countless days into these tiny, what are called microplastics. They're microscopic pieces of plastics, and those plastics are being eaten by the whole food chain of animals that live in the ocean, and eventually we're eating those animals that are eating the microplastics, and so essentially we're just ingesting microplastics. So if we keep letting this problem persist, we're just gonna keep poisoning ourselves. There's no long-term studies on what plastics do to the human body, but there's nothing positive that's coming from it. So one thing you can do to help mitigate plastic making its way into the ocean is buying reusable water bottles. I know it sounds simple. I'm sure we've all heard it before, but instead of going out to 7-Eleven and buying a water bottle on your way to work or on your way to, hike, just bring your trusty old Nalgene with you. Fill it up with water before you leave, and drink it throughout the day. Go to a bathroom, fill it up again. Instead of buying 3 or 4 water bottles that are just gonna, go fill up a landfill or worse, make their way to our ocean. The next thing you could do is buy reusable shopping bags. It costs a little bit of money on the front end. It's anywhere from $2 to $5 a bag, but you can reuse these time and time again, and it's going to stop you from using those one-use grocery bags that you're going to carry the groceries into your house and then throw them away. So that kind of brings me to my next point. Instead of throwing your plastics away, what you should really be doing is recycling. Now, recycling is a pretty simple step that we can all take in our daily lives to help make sure that the plastics that we do use don't end up in a landfill, that they actually get reused and built into some other plastics. So recycling in America, depending on where you live, isn't really popular. On the East Coast, like I said, depending on where you live, some people don't recycle at all. Some people just put all their trash in the same bag and put it out in the corner. Over here in Japan, recycling is mandatory. You will get fined if you put a plastic bottle in with your trash. And they won't pick up your trash. They'll just stick a note on your garbage bag that's saying you're going to go be fined and take it up with the city. So I think the Japanese are doing it right. Recycling is a huge component to keeping the plastic waste out of our oceans and out of our landfills. The last thing you can do, which is pretty simple, is vote. I know it's kind of a cliche, but voting is one of the best things that you can do to help protect our oceans. That way we can allocate funds from the government to, clean up our oceans or pass different legislation to, make more strict the restrictions on, pollution in general. Not only voting, but signing petitions. So if you see that stinky guy outside of Trader Joe's with the clipboard asking for signatures, maybe go see what he's all about before just passing him by. If he's trying to save the whales or something like that, give him a listen and put your name down on the piece of paper if you agree with what he's trying to say. So, in conclusion, there are lots of very simple steps that you can take in your daily life that will only be a mild inconvenience, but it can have monumental impact on our Earth's oceans. 1, recycle. 2, vote. 3, reusable items instead of those single-use plastics that we've come to know and love. So if everyone in this class takes these steps, our lives will just be better. Our future generations will be better. We can make a sizable impact together on our Earth's oceans, and I hope that y'all take your time to recycle. So, without any further ado, audience, do I have any questions?
Not from me.
I have no questions.
Why, thank you. Have a good evening.